So about the Cross-Cultural Center. So as most of you, I think, already know, but maybe those who are watching and don't know. So the Cross-Cultural Center is focused on supporting the success of our diverse student community through programs and events centered on their social justice, inclusion, and validation. We are dedicated to fostering students' holistic learning and growth through initiatives centered on the social justice, inclusion, and validation of the intersectionalities of their social identities, such as race, religion, ethnicity, class, ability, sexual orientation, gender, and gender expression. So that is a little bit about the Cross-Cultural Center. It was established last year, November of 2021, when our faculty director, Dr. Vanessa Falcon Horta, started working at SDSU-Imperial Valley and started actually the Cross-Cultural Center. And it has been growing ever since. We currently don't have an actual physical center yet, but we hope that with time, it does, we do work towards having one, especially for, new students coming in and wanting to be part of the Cross-Cultural Center and get involved as well. But thankfully we are, growing and, the support and people who are wanting to volunteer and become student leaders and just become involved with the Cross-Cultural Center. So in that regard, we are, seeing that growth and we appreciate you for that. And if anyone else wants to ask, I don't think I said this, but if anyone else wants to add a comment or maybe ask a question throughout this presentation, just feel free to do so, unmute yourself. I don't mind at all. Okay. So this is the mission statement. So I am going to just skip this in terms of time, but you're able to look up the Cross-Cultural Center on the SDSU-Imperial Valley website, and you're able to see a deeper dive into the mission statement of the Cross-Cultural Center and the advisory committee and all of that. So these are past events for the Cross-Cultural Center. So these are a little bit of our events that we've had throughout our year already in the Cross-Cultural Center. And we've had Revolutionary Women of our Community, which was an amazing initiative that happened throughout the whole month of Women's History Month. So Revolutionary Women of our Community was a series of events dedicated to celebrating Women's History Month. Revolutionary women are defined as agents of change for the social justice of underrepresented students of Imperial Valley community, or SDSU-Imperial Valley community, and Imperial Valley and Calexico-Mexicali border region. So through the following series of events, SDSU-Imperial Valley students reflected on their own stories as people who identified as women and allies. So this was a series of events that was activities. It was introduction to multimedia storytelling. I know we've had an amazing speaker come in to talk about her work through storytelling, through directing, projects and videos. We also had a Revolution Women of our Community Symposium on March 16th. So that was a really amazing symposium of revolutionary women throughout our community. I know we've had Rosa Diaz, who is the CEO of the LGBT Resource Center. We had Maribel Padilla, who is the Planned Parenthood, I forget her title, but she is actually a community organizer who is of Planned Parenthood. So all of these amazing women who are part of our community, who have led change in some way throughout the Imperial Valley. So that's one of our events. We've had also HELS, which is the Higher Education Legal Services team. services come in from San Diego, who are able to help students who are undocumented and their families who may be undocumented with free legal services for students attending higher education, or even those who are alumni of, community college or SDSU here in the Imperial Valley. So they provided a series of workshops, and they still continue to provide these workshops for our students here, for our community. So that's another series of events that we've also hosted with them. We've also had documentaries or screening of documentaries, such as Selma, The Bridge to the Ballot, which was also in lieu of Black History Month. So that happened this year, and it was a really good event. We also had Marco King, who is the services facilities director, I believe. I'm not sure of his title, but he is part of the SDSU-IV team, and he led a symposium, kind of plática with Dr. Vanessa Falcón Horta in regards to Black History Month and the screening of Selma, The Bridge to the Ballot. And of course, last but not least, we've also held our Building Bridges graduation this year, which was the first ever of its kind. So it was a graduation for students who graduated from SDSU-Imperial Valley, whose family members are not able to cross the border to see them graduate. So we've held a graduation in Mexicali at Casa de la Cultura with the graduates and their families to be able to celebrate such an amazing success, such as graduating. So it was a beautiful event, and it was led by mostly, students. I know Dr. Vanessa Falcón Horta was, spearheading this initiative, but it was a lot of, volunteers who also took charge of building bridges. And I know we're currently planning for building bridges for this next year for 2023. So that's something that, we're also going to need a lot of, help in that regard. So this is just a little breakdown of what we've had for the Cross Cultural Center. And this is more pictures. We also had the Pride flag raising ceremony and a plática also during the summer of this year too. And this is Revolutionary Women of our Community, the symposium. And then this was our summer calendar of events. So this is just a little bit of our events that we've held during the summer in regards to the Cross Cultural Center. And so here it is, Pride flag raising ceremony, Heels Ask Me Anything, so on and so forth. So these are current initiatives for the Cross Cultural Center. So one of the initiatives is Empoderación en la Educación. So Empoderación en la Educación, Underrepresented Post-Secondary Success Stories, is a series of lectures, symposiums, and activities, both online and in person, dedicated to amplifying underrepresented success stories in higher education. These events are parallel with our Heritage Months, highlighting Black, Native, undocumented, and LGBTQ+ scholars, educators, and activists in education. The grant will bring and has brought a series of educators, activists, and scholars from along the Baja California borderlands and beyond, with the purpose of informing peer students, faculty, and staff, and advising administrators on how to better serve and advocate for the underserved by fostering their academic and personal development. So that's the whole purpose of Empoderación en la Educación. And this is our current team. So as you can see from left to right is Dr. Vanessa Falcón Horta, who is of course the faculty director for the Cross Cultural Center, but also has led the Empoderación en la Educación team as well. We have one of our student leaders, Victoria Lara. We have Ivana as well. We have Carlos Fitch. And then we have myself here on the right too. So September, so I'm gonna break down what events we've had throughout this fall semester. But before I jump in, does anyone have any questions so far in regards to what Empoderación en la Educación is, or about the team, or anything like that so far?
Yeah, to be a student leader, what I need to do?
Great. So we're gonna talk about how you can get involved right now after we go through the breakdown, I guess, of all of the months. But you're in the right place. I mean, simply by being here and showing your interest, you know, just saying like, hey, how can I be part of the team? I want to help, you know, it's just a great big help already. So I believe that you're already, you know, come part of the team. I would say that the next steps would be to just attend our meetings. We do have meetings before planning events that we have. So if you could attend those meetings with the team, you know, start with whatever you can. I know we're all students, so we all, you know, try to do our part and the best that we can. So simply by attending these meetings, staying in communication with Empoderación en la Educación, you know, just doing, you know, your part in whatever way you can to help out with these events is a lot already. And as you're gonna see right now, as we go through the slides, a lot goes into it, like creating flyers, contacting speakers, perhaps getting quotes for food, or maybe for items that we might purchase for the day of the event, like lights or anything like that. What else is there? Signing up for tasks like sign-in sheets, or for live streaming, taking pictures. Those like are a couple of the tasks that a lot of us have like jump in working on together. So if you can do at least like one of those tasks, but of course we organize each other. It's not like you're gonna do all of that. Como we all take a little piece of all those tasks.
I can do everything, you know me.
That's great. That's good news. But yeah, just so you know, you're not alone. We're all a team. So as long as, you know, you're able to put in your part en lo que tú puedas, that's more than enough. So hopefully that answers your question, like how to get involved. Es como que just start coming to the meetings and
yeah, totally.
Nos comunicamos.
Yeah, perfect.
See, anyone else have any questions before I jump into what we've done so far, kind of like recap? Okay, so I'll just jump in really quickly. So for the month of September, Empoderación en la Educación had its opening ceremony that took place on September 14th. We had, of course, oh, and it was in the Stepling Art Gallery. We had our keynote speaker, Dr. J. Luke Wood, who is Dean's Distinguished Professor of Education at San Diego State University, and also is Vice President of Student Affairs and Chief Diversity Officer. He gave a keynote topic, which was Advancing Equity and a Climate of Resistance, which was an amazing plática, an amazing talk. So hopefully we get to have, and we will have another keynote speaker for this coming semester, for this spring semester as well. And we are gonna need some help with that too. And then along this month in September, which was Hispanic Heritage Month, we also held a symposium called Post-Secondary Student Success and Community Engagement, which highlighted 4 activists from Calexico Needs Change and Imperial Valley Equity and Justice Coalition. In the symposium, the speakers showcased the effects of engaging with their communities in times of post-graduation. So that was another activity that we held on September. So this is one of the, like a little photo collage of the keynote speaker, Dr. J. Luke Wood, who kicked off Empoderación en la Educación, and his talk was absolutely amazing. I actually have, if you go to YouTube and you type in Cross Cultural Center SDSU-Imperial Valley, you'll be able to see several video snippets of his talk. And it's amazing. And hopefully after this meeting, I'm able to follow up with an email and maybe provide you with some snippets of our events, and because they are recorded. That's the really great thing about the Cross Cultural Center and Empoderación en la Educación, is that we like to record or live stream most of our events. So that way people are able to tune in and know what's going on campus, even if they're not there physically. Oops. So this was one of our other symposiums, which was for Hispanic Heritage Month. And oops, I thought I had the flyer on here. Oh, you see it's skipping. There it is. Post-secondary success and community engagement at the borderlands. So this was the flyer for this symposium. So as you can see, we had our speakers here, and they gave an amazing talk at the library. This was actually at the library. So this was an amazing event also. So for the month of October, we celebrated LGBTQ+ History Month and Undocumented Advocacy Week. We had speakers from Mexicali, Calexico, Tijuana, and San Diego who addressed the campus community in 3 different symposiums: Resistencia Indocumentada, Queering the Border, and Queer Excellence in Education. As is tradition in the Imperial Valley, October signifies the month of celebration to diversity and pride, which was heightened by the narratives of queer Ed.D. and PhD candidates from our trans-border region. So let me show you some pictures of this. Oh, this was kind of like our calendar of events for October, actually. Oh, and I don't think it was mentioned on the previous slide, but we also had a play screening from Mexicali artists called En el Patio de Atrás. It was in the Rodney Auditorium, and it was absolutely fabulous. And the directors and some of the actors were actually there to give a little like address and talk about the screening a little bit. Here it is. Here are some of our pictures. And this was Adán Escobedo, who gave the talk Resistencia Indocumentada. As you can see, we had a lot of food for whoever joined in. And yeah, and then here we had Queering the Border panelists, and it was really beautiful, this talk. And there was a lot of people who showed and were there to speak to a lot of these panelists afterwards and to ask questions. And it was awesome. It was amazing. All of these events were amazing. So moving on, for November, we had American Indian Heritage Month. And we had, I know this isn't a good description, but we had speakers from the indigenous women from Baja California, from the Baja California borderlands, and they gave an amazing talk in regards to what it means to be indigenous in the Baja California borderlands. It was amazing. I actually saw this talk via Zoom. So, and this, as you can see, a lot of these talks or a lot of these symposiums that we have, they will be both in person, and then some of them will be in Zoom. So, you know, if you're interested in volunteering or in helping with these events, your help is appreciated in both modalities. So perhaps on Zoom, it would be a lot of help to promote the event or help moderate the event. So if you have any questions that you would like to ask our speakers to kind of lead the conversation, that's also very helpful to us as well. And of course, we have our recent speaker, Janira Godoy Osben, who is from the Cugapa tribe, give a talk about her Cugapa origins, and then myths and legends that the Cugapa tribe has, and that she grew up hearing and listening from these legends from her ancestors and family members. It was a really beautiful talk as well, and this was also via Zoom. And that is it in regards to the Empoderación en la Educación events for fall. So does anyone have any questions in regards to Empoderación en la Educación? I know we're gonna move on to the advisory committee, but I don't know if maybe that's why some of you are here for. I know that the main I guess like chunk of where I think we need a lot of help in is just, you know, Empoderación en la Educación in general. But I mean, it's also helpful to, you know, get any help that we can also for the Cross-Cultural Center, especially with, you know, building bridges coming up. But anything else just regarding Empoderación en la Educación? Maybe anything you would like to add, Dr. Falcón? I'm sorry, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I don't know, just in case I'm missing anything.
Firstly, Chrissy, thank you so much for these amazing highlights of the Cross-Cultural Center throughout the year. It's hard to believe everything that we have done this year, and I can't wait to see what we're going to be doing next year. In regards to anything that was missing, you know, you covered everything very thoroughly. I think just on the topic of the Cross-Cultural Center's Advisory Committee, the Advisory Committee for the Cross-Cultural Center, a lot of the decision-making process is done through that committee, and everybody is welcome, from students, faculty, and staff. Everybody's welcome at the table and to form part of that decision-making process. So some of that and how that looks like is, for example, the mission and vision of the Cross-Cultural Center. It was created with the advisory committee at the table, right? Our initiatives that we have, from Empoderación to the Revolutionary Women, and even our, of course, our Heritage Months, but our advocacy work in support of undocumented students is also with the advisory committee in of course in mind, and at the table for these decisions that we make and everything that we create at the Cross-Cultural Center. So specifically, you know, as you join as a volunteer, I want to highly encourage you to also form part of the advisory committee. It just kind of goes hand in hand. If you're already involved, you're attending our meetings, you're supporting, I want to encourage you to also take a seat at the table and the decisions that we make, the initiatives that we implement, and the events that we have. And this is a wonderful place for you to be a part of, but also I think also a wonderful part to engage in leadership. So one of the things that we do like to do is, of course, give credit where credit is due. So we do like to highlight our advisory committee members on our website with your, you know, your picture, your bio. So if this is something you're interested, consider it. We usually meet twice a month, so we meet bi-weekly. Most of our meetings are on Wednesdays, and however, once maybe there's holidays or, you know, the campus is closed, so we might adjust meetings accordingly. But most of the time we do meet on Wednesdays from 1 to 2. And yeah, and if you're interested, please send Christy and I your picture, your bio, and we would be so happy to highlight you on our Cross-Cultural Center's website.
Thank you, Dr. Falcón. And yes, of course, I totally agree. I also highly encourage you to join the Cross-Cultural Center Advisory Committee, and it does go hand in hand, I think, with the initiative of Empoderación as well, because the Cross-Cultural Center, you know, it's, you know, constantly we're coming up with different initiatives, different events and planeaciones pues for the betterment of our student community and just just overall. So I think it's really important if you could please also join the committee as well and become involved. And yes, please send us your picture and bio whenever you can, if you're interested in joining, of course. And we hope to see you in our meetings. And yeah, it is bi-weekly. You can join us in person, or you can also join us via Zoom, however you can. And it's from 1 to 2 p.m. on bi-weekly on Wednesdays. So, and we hope to give you all also a kind of like a calendar of our advisory committee meetings for the semester of spring as well, just so you're able to attend those too. So, oh, and then I still had this, Dr. Falcon, but I know you can always contact her via email. I wish I could have written it here, but you can always not only contact Dr. Falcon, you can always contact also any of us members of the advisory committee if you're interested in joining. But I know Dr. Falcon, right now we're all kind of like winding down for the semester, but I'm pretty sure she'll continue to have some sort of office hours or one-on-one times for whoever is interested. So just rest assured that for next semester, you're able to contact her. And that is it for the presentation.